Now we will begin with Section 2, Employee Information. In order to access employee records, begin by clicking on button 15, More Options, and then clicking on button 2, Employee Records. A password is required to get into this section. As soon as the Employee Records section is entered, iGoFigure will begin with the Employee List, a list of all employees, both former and current, entered into the iGoFigure system. In a moment, we will show how to delete an employee from all drop-down lists pertaining to things such as entering a new member, entering a no sale, selling a product, and so forth. In order to access a member's record, just click on their name. Each name is underlined and it's like a hyperlink that will take you directly to their record. For example, let's select Zoe Zappingdale. Once we click on her name, we will be taken to that employee's record. Again, we're going to click on the blue Edit button in the upper right corner here so that we may read the text a little bit more clearly and so that we can make needed changes. Now, at the upper left corner of each employee's record will be this checkbox marked Current. When there is a check there, it means that this employee is a current member at this facility, current employee at this facility, and their name will appear in drop-down lists wherever applicable. If this employee is no longer current at this facility, all that is needed is to click in this box to remove the check mark from the current selection. This employee's name will now be deleted from all drop-down lists as previously mentioned for entering new members, no sales, product sales, and so forth. There will still be a master record of their employment at the facility contained only here in the Employee Records section. And if this employee ever does return and rejoin the facility, all that is needed is to come back to their record, click in the current box so that a check mark appears there, and this employee is now current again at this facility. One of the things that should be checked as part of your mentoring work is the information entered for each employee. Begin with first name and last name, make sure the name is entered correctly and spelled correctly, and verify the employee's address. Also look through the home phone, email, birthday, and other information there. The things that are contained on your checklist that are critically important to check for are the following. Number one, the time clock number. You will see that this employee has a very long time clock number, 103659995. Now, it used to be that employees would enter the last four digits of either their home telephone number, cell number, social security number, or so forth as their time clock number. There is a more modern way of doing it, which is to assign them a key tag number. You wouldn't honestly expect this employee Zoe to remember time clock number 103659995, nor does she need to. She also doesn't need to physically jump onto the computer, get on the software, interrupt potentially whatever another employee might have been doing there, access the time clock feature, and punch in her number manually in order to clock in for work. All that the employee need do is take the key tag, which has that key tag number, and hold it in front of the barcode scanner briefly as soon as they arrive for work in the morning. Because that employee time clock number is entered as a key tag number, iGoFigure recognizes that this is not a member scanning in to work out, but rather an employee clocking in to work. And by the way, employees clock both in and out, unlike members. So, an employee can clock in the morning, clock out for lunch, clock back in the afternoon, clock out in the evening. iGoFigure understands that they've worked 2 shifts. It has the total number of hours for each. It adds them together, and this information is reported on the timesheet. In addition, the total hours worked are multiplied by the total hourly wages to come up with gross pay. So this is another item that is entered on your checklist, which is the pay rate, which should be entered here. Now, the next thing that we will cover is how to enter a new employee. So once you've verified all the employee information, you can click on the Save button here in the upper right corner, and then click on Back to List, which takes you back to the list of employees. And you'll notice that there is a button marked Add New Employee at the bottom left. We're going to go ahead and click on that, and we're going to go through the process. Now, it's pretty simple and straightforward. However, there's an important point to note here. When you mentor, one of the things that you should do is enter yourself as an employee in the system. And the reason that you should do that is because if you make a sale, if you sign up a member during the time there, you're going to want to have somebody to credit as that salesperson without necessarily giving away credit for that sale to some employee who didn't actually make the sale or just crediting it to the owner or the manager. In addition, this gives you good practice and also enables you to demonstrate to the club owner or manager the process of entering a new employee. So we're going to enter Molly Mentor as the name. We'll go ahead and just make up a street address here and put in a city and a state and a zip code. We'll make up some information on phone number and email. You can skip the birthday field and social security number field. They are not required. Hire date defaults to today's date. You can enter as the date at which you are beginning your mentoring work. And you can also enter a termination date as the date that you've left the facility. Termination is a bit of a strong word. An employee doesn't need to be fired or something else happen in order for them to have a termination date. It simply means the date at which they're no longer an employee there. So if you mentor for 3 days or for a week, you can enter a quote hire date and quote termination date. Under position, you can select from the drop-down list, or you can just type mentor. And the time clock number, now if you want to keep track of the hours that you're spending on this mentoring assignment, you can have your own key tag. You can actually take it with you from club to club to club where you mentor. And let's say that you have a specific time clock number, that key tag number, you just enter it there, and you can enter a pay rate if you want, or you can just put it at $0.00. Click on Save, and it says, do you want to add mentor to the application's list of recognized positions? A very useful convenience that we've built in for you so that any new position that you have gets added to the drop-down list. We'll say yes, go ahead and add it, even though it probably won't be used again, and you can see that Molly Mentor is now an employee, quote-unquote, at the facility. That is pretty much all that there is to employees.